All right, guys, what's going on? It is still morning. It's been a beautiful day. Been a lot of opportunities here. SLNO was a great opportunity, 150s, 160s, and just paid myself 140, 141. Just in the event that it does head back up towards 150s, 130 in the afternoon pop, or even squeeze back up. This market is insane, volatile, and it's still going. So it could very well push back up 1.62, but chances are, at least I would say 70% chance this thing is going to fade back today, 130s, and by Friday, 110s, 120s. Mito, we already talked about today, already faded back all the way. But I wanted to talk about SLNO, why I didn't short here. Typically I would. It's orphan news, it's worthless. I would be involved right away because it's worthless and because this stock is not very interesting. Why wouldn't I be involved right away? And one of the reasons I wasn't involved is because the current market condition that we're in, and that is so Mito, the fellow news, I would say, so similar news, was ripping 70%, 50%, and not really fading too bad. At the time. This is still pre-market. It was still fairly high. It was one of the lead runners, and people were excited. People were doing well. Longs were doing well. A lot of dips have been bought the last few days, and things have ran for on no news and no reason. And this stock was kind of the bottom of the barrel, right down at $1, and there was room all the way to 150, and I just didn't really see any resistance until 150. Just looking at it, so based on the current market environment, based on the time frame, based on what was happening in the market, yeah, I was short biased, but I just didn't see an edge. There was no trade, 110s, 120s. There was no trade for me, and that's important to recognize. Even though I got super excited, just super excited about orphan news. I love shorting orphan news, but there wasn't a trade, and that's the difference between knowing the news and knowing what you want and what is actually happening. So yeah, so basically just waited for it to kind of grind along here, and I saw the consolidation and figured I was probably right. I made a good decision, and sure enough, it did start to take off. I was definitely interested right here at the open at Pops, but again, due to the market conditions and environment, I just didn't see an edge. I saw it was up a lot. I saw, potentially it should fade back here, but there wasn't an edge. And that's the key, that there was no 90% setup. This is a 50%, maybe a 60% setup because of the news versus not. But again, so just waited and waited, and I knew 150 was that general number everybody was looking at. The price everybody was looking at, was around VWAP on the yearly. I thought, obviously, year high or gap fill was ridiculous. So, maybe a push on two was what I was thinking. So either, over VWAP, over 150 or two. And so, one of the reasons I short here, 160s, I mean, obviously there was a huge stuff here, high of day, and you could have shorted here out of the pops or backside, but I shorted right at highs here, 164, anticipating this stuff, and then I added on the backside here. This is a different account, so you can't actually see my initial entry, but yeah, so the reason I anticipated that was the time frame, and the time frame was coming up to 11 a.m. And so, this wasn't a 90% setup. This was probably from 70% to 80%. 90% would have been at 2 or higher. But what I did is I took a starter position. So this was a starter position because this was an edge. So no, it wasn't a huge size position, but it was an edge, so I had to take the trade. Because now, it had made a top over 150, 160. It had come back. The time frame was right. We're moving all the way to 11. And now it's pushed all the shorts out. And now when everybody goes long for the breakout and all the shorts have covered, now we can actually fade. Because here, it's just too, it's the first trend break, and you're not going to short the first trend break. There's too many shorts in this. It's way too obvious. We needed that push out, and man, did I want to short this. I really, really wanted to short this, but I waited for my edge, and I shorted. I said basically to myself, I would either short the backside, 140s heavy, and just size right in, or I would wait here, do a starter, and then size in the backside. And so that's exactly what I did. Starter, add, and paid myself, and we'll see if it goes any lower or if it comes back up in the afternoon. But that was the general thought around SLNO. And yeah, the stock, it just isn't very interesting. It was high volume. One of the things that I want to note on this stock was that it just didn't, there was no, it didn't feel like there was an algo present or anything like that. It was just a simple push. I don't know if it was a big fund or chat room or what it was, but it wasn't anything fancy. It wasn't anything, I didn't get the feel from level 2 or anything that it was extremely special. And special stocks, you know, when you just kind of, your eyes bulge and like, wow, like you have to watch those because it could definitely go 2, 4, or something else, a volume creation algo or something very special with a huge fund, but this just didn't have that. So that added to my conviction on starting here, and then it wouldn't go to 2, and you know, it seemed like a very simple stock after that. So we'll see the rest of the day, but that was pretty much all my thoughts on SLNO. Trade's pretty thick. Yeah, not too interesting. Like I said, by Friday, certain targets and whatnot. So hope that helped, and see you guys next one.